What's going on, family? Black Phoenix checking in this morning. I am at the headquarters, and I just wanted to talk to you this morning about my name. So I wanted to change up the way I hashtagged Blaque Welder and my name Black Phoenix, because just for those who want to know, I'm actually changing my real name into Black Phoenix. So Black Phoenix is actually going to be my real government name. It's what I'm working on. Um, but I also wanted to change the concept of how I write it. I was writing out Black Welder because Black Welder is also a last name. So I wanted to create something to kind of show my uniqueness. And I'm always stressing the welding in hip hop, stressing products over talent. So when a person hashtag, if they can hashtag HogOn Welding, you can find me. Welding in hip hop, you can find me. The hashtag Imagine Your Containers, you can find me. Live to be remembered, or L2BR, you can find me. And I've been creating different hashtags, trying to create, honestly, I didn't really know how to do the hashtag situation. I just been learning how I go. Um, and I have learned that it shows the origination if you create it on certain platforms. It shows who was the originator of that hashtag. So if you create a hashtag, it'll show it was created on your channel or your page or by this person. And some of y'all know that I've been talking about working on a book, and I have been working on a book actually. And one of the things in my book that I've been having a little issue on going back and forth with myself with is the title, you know, because I don't want it to be too long, too lengthy. I don't want it to be discouraging. I don't want it to be um, just a pass through. I wanted to actually catch the reader's attention, but then also be able to provide them with some valuable information. And I think coming from our culture, coming from the African culture, Black natives, African Americans, Black Israelites, whatever you wish to call yourself, I think coming from our culture, we always have tried to fit in, with the American culture. And the American culture isn't our culture, but we was we have adopted it, you know. And when we're trying to get jobs and different things like that, a lot of times you have read literature, of seen shows, or seen on TV. They say, well, try not to give your kids those black names. It's going to hinder them in the workforce, you know. So it seems like it has been a lot of talk about the names Shaniqua, you know, Daquan, all that stuff. Yeah, that's most definitely black, but I think that we we are who we are. And I feel like we should embrace who we are as a culture. If that's what you want to give your child a name that is recognized and they say, oh, that's ghetto. Hi, who's to say? You know, you allowing your oppressor to tell you what's right or wrong when they told you your told our ancestors knowing who they was wrong. They wanted them to forget that, wipe out the memory of who you was, where exactly you came from, who exactly, how you got here, and this is what I want you to know. This is your name, you know? So when you look at American history, man, you can't be naive not to embrace the fact that American history is cruel. American history is violent, um, biased, uh, started out racist, you know. started out a betrayal type of situation, And me as a black welder, man, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, I had faced so much, and a lot of it was just due to my skin color, you know, not me just being a felon, not me just going to prison, but me just being a little darker, and then me being cultured, having a beard, having gold teeth. Why do you look like this? Why do you do this? And it's crazy that we live in America and we're supposed to be free, correct? But yet they would try to critique the African American on how he should live and how he should name himself and how we should operate itself being here as a worker. I'm gonna keep saying that before I get into deeper and what I really want to say. Um, and then we get trapped into thinking that we got to operate inside that box. You know, once we was free in this country, the only way for us to really maintain true freedom and true independence is to have businesses, is to create our own everything. And I heard Dr. Clyde Anderson say that, before the segregation, we had hundreds of businesses. Everybody had something going. We were supporting our people. We was, going to the rallies. We were supporting the food. We were supporting the clothing. We were supporting um, the agents, the homemakers, or whatever. Everything that was black, we were supporting it. And then once segregation came in, it 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 allowed the system to manipulate us once again. It gives you a title without giving you any substance. Okay, you can now eat at this restaurant that we told you you had to go to the back, and you might be getting that food spit in. You don't know because you ain't looking in it, but you able to sit there now and feel good about what eating at their table. Nah, any real ones, which a lot of them did. They're like, man, I was eating fine over here. Miss Susie, Joe Blow, so and so shop, whatever, cafes was good. And I just think that we have to, as a African American people, as a black culture, we have to build our wealth. And I get it. We have to start from ground zero with a job. But now it's time to wise up and realize that we can use that earned income to make passive income and make generational wealth. That's what we want to do. And as a black as a black welder, that's my mission, is to teach my people that, could teach you that you can use a trade and actually turn it into a business and make finances and change your life and make investments to do other things, because you don't want all of your eggs in the same basket. But you do need something to get established, something to get started if you don't already have finances. You know, you thinking you have to have a GED, high school diploma, go to college, get a loan, get in debt. You don't have to do none of that to be a certified AWS welder. All you have to do is have the money to pay for the certification, have the money to get the training or get the training. That's it. And be good at what you do. It's really simple. You know, one thing I had to embrace, and some people ask me, why do I love field welding? And I always say, field welding ain't shop welding. I got a shop, I'm a fabricator too, but I like to install in the field. I like to weld in the field. I like to do things in the element. I'm cool with it. And it just made me realize the history of our people, that, we had some of us that was in the field and we have some of us that was in the house. Me personally, I embraced, and I knew if I was there then, which I had been, not particularly like completely in the real slavery, but I had been in the fields. I have chopped cotton, and I realized I would have been considered as a field. I probably could have gotten a house, you know, but I was good in the field though, And normally, you just have to embrace who you are. Some things can just be a cruel reality, a fact that, they call me this, but yeah, I'm a field person. I'm cool with that. I'm a field Negro. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I'm a field black man, so I'm gonna utilize the field to not get in their house, but to build me a house. You know what I mean? Where I can be able to be comfortable. And I want my people to be able to do the same thing. And me just having this title, just saying Blaque Welder, man, I just want to let my people know that I am here for you. Like, when I started this movement, I was looking at some brothers who I could tell. I mean, actions speak louder than words. You can always tell if someone's so loud, or a person is kissing somebody's ass, or still going by the system and teaching systematic things. I didn't want to teach systematic things. I didn't want to go by the system rules and regulations. I wanted to be me. I wanted to be black, and I didn't really see no one else on the tube stressing, being pro-black, but willing to help everybody, but really not to go by the system and tell you that you got to do certain things certain ways. I wanted to break that chain. I wanted to be the Nat Turner of welding, pretty much. I'm going against the grain on everything, you know? Like, that's why my channel is so unorthodox, and some people say negative things and mean emails, inboxes, it is what it is, but I, I know that I'm the Nat Turner of this black welding, of the turning a trade into a business. Like, what I'm doing is going to be, it's an uproar. It's not the same as someone is teaching you to go to a basic school and do this and get the job and work 20 years and retire. I'm not going to tell you none of that. Like, and I'm going to do it by example. And I have archives to prove it. You have, you can go back and witness my progress. A lot of people will tell you how they got there once they got there. And that's famous blowed up story of the struggle. I showed it to you. You can go back and check it. I had good days and bad days. Jobs are frustrating. People who tried to take advantage of me, I shared it with you. Situations where I have been in the field as a black welder, and I have pretty much been the only black welder. Majority of the time, I have been a black welder. I have been the only one. And I'm going to say 90% of the time. Now I'm going to go a little higher, 95% of the time, probably 98% of the time. Only a few times I have been around other black welders who could hold their own. But I have never been around one who didn't kiss ass. Like, I've been around a lot of black welders, but I've seen them kiss ass for that money, so they can brag and say they making 25 or 20 or 30. But boy, when I tell you they got to go through some BS to get that little money, I'm just not with it. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna sell out. It's just what it is, man. I realize that they say, the system try to say, once you're something, you're recovering from that. You are a recovering alcoholic. You are a recovering drug addict. You know what I mean? So certain things that, you have to realize that you just have to embrace. You know, from the streets, I'm labeled a hustler, you know, and a robber, a thug, so to speak. So I was thinking like, well, I don't think that's a bad thing when you flip it around in a good term, in a good sense, saying I'm hustling, but not in a bad way, not illegal. I'm robbing, but I'm not robbing nobody and taking their possessions. You know, I'm taking back what's mine. You ever heard that old song? It's an old hymn. I went into the enemy's camp and I took back what he stole from me. It's an old hymn that, they used to sing a lot in southern churches. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going back into the enemy's camp just to get back what's mine. And if I'm stressing thug life, I'm stressing those who look like me, saying that, hey, we can do it. We can make a change. You know what I mean? Just because you culture doesn't mean that you can't still wear whatever color you wear because that's your color. I don't have no problem with it. That's what people always try to put division, man. We're all different. My color is blue. Your color red. His color gold. His color purple. His color yellow. His color green. It doesn't matter. What color are we? We the same. Okay, end of story. Then I'm with you. You see what I'm saying? I'm with you. We can all sit at this table as bosses with all our different colors on and make a great decision to empower our people. We can do that. And that's what I'm on. Like, I don't want to sell out. Like, man, when you look at the movement and things that's going on, like, it's like people will do so much for money. And we know we got to have money. That's realistic. But we don't have to sell out for it. You know, that's why I stress on products over talent, because we're gonna have to get us some products. We're gonna have to invest in something that's ours, that we own, that can help the people and that can also help us and our people, our kids, because that's what it's about. You know, we want to help other people, but you got to make sure you take care of your kingdom, which is your kids, their kids, their kids, their kids. That's a man, a king's responsibility, is to pass down an inheritance, and not only a physical, a material, but something, some wisdom, some possession, some land. Most definitely, some land. A wise person would pass their kids down some land, something that they can own. You know, I think that's some value. You know, I heard people say once your kid get 18, you should stop messing with them. Man, the way I feel, as your child get grown older and older, they will you have less involvement in their decisions. But I think you should always be in their lives. Always. You know, Job said he went up and prayed for his family every morning, even though they was in foreign countries and they was grown doing their thing. He just said, hey, they might did something I'm not aware of that might displease you. I just want you to keep looking over them. And I think that's a man's responsibility. So as a black father myself, and I consider myself um, as a black welding instructor, as a black business owner, you know, as a black mentor for some who want to actually do what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Um, we could actually do that. You know what I mean? I want to lead by example, and I don't want to give you nothing faulty. You know what I mean? I don't want to give you some misconception of what the game is about or what life is about. You know what I mean? That's why I just show you different forms on it. I'm not gonna water it down. You know what I mean? Enough has already been watered down. You know, we have been watered down enough. Don't you? I mean, and it's about time to just get the raw truth. You know, stop. So, oh, that's too much. Could you water it down? Nah, it is what it is, man. Embrace life for what it is. You know, stop telling lies to your kids. Break that curse, and that's all I want to do. I'm just embracing who I am as a black man, as a black man in America that can't breathe. You know, as a black man in America who's still getting hung on trees, as a black man in America who's still getting slaved and took advantage of and still getting killed by the police. I get it, man. I see this all the time. And you have people that say that all this don't happen. Well, we just got to be realistic. And all I want to do is say, hey, you think there isn't no way. If you're in a situation and you think there's no way, I just want to give you that way, by leading by example. You can turn a trade into a business. Welding is so fundamental. You know, there's so many things you can do with it, so many fields you can be in, so many people you can help, so many products, things you can design. It's unreal with welding. And I just want to say, man, we're going to have to utilize that. We're going to have to embrace it. And I'm just embracing mine, you know, with my movement, with HogOn, with the welding and hip hop, with the imagine your container. I just want to do something to show you that you can think outside of the box. You know, for those who don't know me and first time seeing me or watching me, I spent from basically 15 to 26 years old in prison. I did a decade as a juvenile, you know, and in that time, that's where I really got my jewels at that I use today. I learned how to read in prison. I got my GED in prison. I went to Votech and got combination of welding in prison. I went to small business management in college in prison. I utilized my time. So that way, once I got out, I had more tools to deal with. And I still had to learn. I still bumped my head. And I did 10 years in prison. And then you know what I did? I got out and did 10 more years. And you want to like, man, what do you do? Go back to prison? Pretty much. I got a job. I got out of prison and got a job. I went right back to prison for 10 more years. But I had to learn it. I had to work for somebody. I had to learn the system of business. And it took me 10, really a little less to chart to get it, but I pretty much did it for 10 years. And then I kind of branched off completely. But I had to learn it, man. And the only thing I want to say that for, because say, is we got to put our time in. You got some time to put in. Don't think it's going to happen overnight. Everything you build is not going to happen overnight. I started with nothing. You know, when I was released from prison, man, after 10 years, after a decade, I had $100 check and a bus ticket. 2006, $100 check and a bus ticket. Real talk. And I've been flipping it ever since then. Continuously flipping it, getting welders, getting things, doing stuff, improving myself, building my brand since then off $100 and a bus ticket. So I'm just not the one that's full of excuses. So if you got a whole lot of them, you probably don't want to tell me about them, because I'm going to tell you, get that shit away from me. I'm not with excuses. I'm with survival, because in prison, it taught me something. You only got two real excuses in life. You either going to make it or you going to fail. You going to fail by giving up. You don't fail by fighting someone getting you. Nah, that ain't failing. You fail when you run, when you're a coward. And in prison, if you tuck your tail, things can happen. And you already know what I'm saying. I'm not even going to go there, because that what can happen in there. You tuck your tail, you're going to become a female. Just put it like that, point blank, period. So you're going to be a man, not just because you was born one, but are you one? Can you survive? So I'm coming to you from a little rougher, raw standpoint, but I'm leading by example. I'm giving you my heart with it. You know, I don't want to babysit nobody. I'm not a babysitter. That ain't what I do. I'm independent. And if you want it raw, I can give it to you. And that's why I give consultations, you know, and I don't even try to bust your head. Like, I don't even charge a lot, but we got to break the curse of thinking something for free, because ain't nothing for free, period. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to be in business, if you're going to improve your life, just on a personal note, you're going to spend money. That's what it is. It's just what it is. So you need to find the people that's going to give it to you real, besides those that's just going to sell you something, just so they can really put some more money in their pocket. You know what I mean? My consultations are $150, and I'm not just selling you nothing. I'm giving you literally 10K worth of gain for $150 that you can use to go start a business. It takes 10,000 to start a business, a good one, pretty much getting started, you know. And if you can spend 150 to get that type of information, to get your wheels to turn and to get you established, to me, it's a no-brainer. And I don't pull teeth or try to convince you that this is what you need to do. That's why you don't see me always preaching, hey, do this, send me this. I don't do that. If you feel you ready and it's for you, you hit me up, you inbox me, you email me, and we can set that consultation up. We can sit down and talk. But it's not up to me to convince you. It's not up to me to wake you up. It's up to me to be the light. I'm just going to shine and keep shining and keep doing what I feel that God need me to do. What's my purpose? And once you see me, once you see the grind, once those who witness what I'm doing, they'll say, oh, this is what he doing. Not because I was just out here preaching or saying, oh, I'm a Christian. Nah. If you call me one, you call me one. But I don't express to be I'm a child of God. So when you see me, I'm just going to be about my Father's business. You know what I mean? Point blank, period. This is how I feel. And I'm not a person to preach and hold about. I have different of opinions of how I believe, but I believe. And I don't stress and preach on politics or religion because people can get sensitive and people get emotional. You know what I mean? I don't deal with that. What you believe in is what you believe in. I just want to see you do better. You know what I mean? Your faith, your politics, that's your thing. That's a personal thing. You know what I mean? But as for you as a person, as a soul, as a breathing being, I care about you. And especially if you look like me. I love you. I die for you. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? Because I'm knowing that we're not here to stay anyway. So if I can, if the sacrifices I make gonna improve you or save us, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? That's paying it forward to me personally. So when I come to you and I say things about my movement, or you see me drop random organic videos, I'm just sharing my experience. I'm sharing my life because I know that everything is not going to be ice cream and cake for us. You know what I mean? So you need to see both sides of it. There's no reason to tell your kids everything is going to be all right. And then they grow up and realizing that everything ain't going to be all right because they don't even know how to make it when things get hard because you sheltered that from them. You hid that from them. They never felt the struggle. We need to see the struggle. We need the struggle. The struggle improves us. It embellishes. It shines us like my gold teeth. You hear me? The struggle. That's what the struggle do. You know what I mean? So I feel that if there's no struggle, there's no progress. We got to go through something, man. And me as a black welder, I've been going through the fire. And you know what they say? Fire purifies gold 7 times. Gold is purified in the fire. And when you see me with gold teeth, it has nothing to do with, oh, he's blinking. This is my culture. Do a little homework on African American history as slaves, how they didn't allow us to take care of our mouths or our upkeep. You know, I appreciate that. No problem. I just felt like there was time for me to talk about this a little bit this morning. You be blessed. Enjoy your day. Um, I just felt like we need to know what this really is about. My gold teeth represent those slaves who was freed, and once they was able to get their money and finances and get out the South, they got out. Few of them stayed, but majority of them got out. And when they got out, they embellished themselves. They fixed their mouth, and that was the way to fix our mouth with gold. And the gold paid homage to the native side, the natives that help us survive, and you know, they helped us cultivate our culture after slavery, and doing while we was getting free, and those who help us survive on their land. You know, and then the gold also represents that we tried to put our money in banks, do some homework, do a little homework on that, and the banks just took the African Americans' money, just took our money, so we couldn't trust them. So then you start seeing African Americans. That's when you start seeing us buy things like jewelry, clothes, a lot of stuff, and keep it in the houses. Why do we buy all that bank stuff? Why you don't invest no money in this? Because we didn't know how to do that. We tried to invest the money in the bank. We was trying to learn the system. They took it, so we said, well, I'd rather look good with my money. I'm gonna die anyway. Might as well die with it. So when you see the culture of us want to look good and want to shine, and you see us in the rapper videos, we like the bling, and they got the jewelry, and that's because that's what we was literally raised to do, because we didn't know what to do with money. And a lot of them, you see, they blow it. I'm spinning, I'm blowing it, I'm doing this. And then you see later they went broke. They ain't got nothing. They blame somebody, took advantage of them. They didn't pay taxes. They didn't, because we wasn't taught about money. Think we got out of slavery. Think you got a kid from high school going to the NBA. They just give him some money. You think he ain't finna make up some bad decisions if he don't have the right people around him? It's the same thing, man. Think about it. It's still going on today. So as a black welder, and that's why I spelt my name like that, Blaque welder, because I want it to be a little bit different. And when those Google and find me, I want you to be able to find someone that's authentic. Find someone that ain't gonna feed you no BS. Just because she's gonna give it to you raw. I'm gonna show you how to do it by the system, but I'm gonna also show you some loopholes. You gotta remember what our president said when he got into office. Don't be mad at me that I'm using the loopholes that was designed by the system. See, the loopholes was designed by the system. So don't get mad at the rich that they use them. We just need to learn them. And that's what I teach. and turning a trade into a business. Think about it. Turning a trade into a business with welding and hip hop, with the independence of welding, because that's what it's about, gaining our independence. Hold on.